Hello, darling. I'm just, let me just have a little, get something off my chest as I'm thinking about all this, and then we'll talk properly. But I'm sat here, what way to enter 2025, but I'm entering my third month of solitary confinement within Woodhill Prison. After 42 days, they had to go to the government after 42 days of isolation. So whose decision is it? Because I know people get frustrated with the prison. It's not the prison. All decisions to do with me and nothing to do with the jail. They're coming from the government. That was I had to give a written response to my opinion on my isolation. After 42 days, it was going to the government for them to continue doing it. So I wrote my written response, which said, this doesn't have to happen. When I come in here, I sat down with a psychiatrist, and I said to her, what's 9 months of solitary confinement going to do to me? She said it's going to be devastating for your mental health. So I said, so why are they doing it? And 2 weeks ago, this week, I sat down. Every 2 weeks, I have a meeting with the governors, and the mental health team are there. Psychiatrists are there, mental health, probation, independent monitoring board. They're all there every 2 weeks because I have to have it because I'm on solitary confinement. And this week, I said, I'm going to say this because I feel different. I'm telling you, I know how I feel. I feel different. I know I'm only 2 months in. So why am I still being held in solitary confinement? Why am I not in a DCAT prison? And there's a mental health team there. I said, let me just ask you, is this good for me? She said, no. I said, how bad is it? Because I know how bad it is because I remember what happened last time. So I said, so why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? And I'm a civil offender, so I got 18 months, which is insane anyway, for playing a film that they said wasn't in the public's interest. Well, I think it's on 115 million views. It certainly was in the public's interest, yeah? But they sentenced me to 18 months. Now, as a civil offender, you go to an open prison. What's the difference between that and how I'm being held? When open prison, you get a job outside. You have a car. You go to work. You go stay at home 5 days a month. You have town visits with your family. So that is the only prison you go to for committing civil offences. You're unshipped to a maximum security jail housing the worst Muslim gangs and jihadists in the country. And then they use that then to say you have to go on solitary confinement. And what is solitary confinement? Well, rapists and terrorists are not on solitary confinement. Jihadists aren't. Axel, who done his little stabbing spree, the Muslim lad, I was in Belmarsh on solitary confinement. He was 2 cells above me on healthcare. He's got a job. So they're not under solitary confinement. What day is it today? It's Thursday. My routine tomorrow, Friday. At 8:30, because people say, yeah, I've got the gym. I have got the gym. So at 8:30 in the morning, I'll get collected for the gym. I'll get taken over to another 8 empty unit. I'm on a wing with 16 cells. It's just me. Yeah. Then I get taken through 19 sets of doors to another unit. It's a high security, maximum security unit where I'm allowed to use a gym. I'm on my own. So they lock me in a little small gym area. So I go there on my own. They lock me in a gym. I work out. Yeah, I'll do an hour run. I'll go on the bike for an hour. And then I bang the door. And then they'll open the door and they'll bring me outside. And then there's like an exercise yard. So I'll walk around that on my own. I'll do 40 minutes on my own. Yeah. And I'll have that. And then they'll bring me in. Then they'll bring me in. I'll go in the shower room. Luckily, on my own. Yeah? On my own in the shower room. But that's my routine. And then at 11:30, I'm put back in my cell. And then from 11:30 till the next morning, I'm sat in my cell. So 21 hours a day, I sit on that bed. Now, I wouldn't be moaning. I don't want people to feel sorry for me, but the injustice of it all is this shouldn't be happening. Why shouldn't it be happening? Because that's mental torture. Google solitary confinement. It's a decision that that their own mental health teams in here have said will be devastating for my mental health. Yet the government are making a decision to hold me in these conditions for 9 months. I asked this week, how long will I be held like this? 9 months. So you're not going to send me to an open prison? Why not? Why not? And what's the difference? When I got sentenced in Belmarsh, when I got to prison, everyone who goes to jail now, because the prisons are full, everyone gets 60% off. Not me. I wasn't allowed 60% off. So everyone does. Everyone. I'm in every single prison. Because I'm not a criminal offender. I'm a civil offender, so I shouldn't even be in it. I'm not a criminal offender, so I get the 50% off. They get 60. I think some of them get 70 from January. But that's only a difference of a month off. But that's a big difference when someone's sitting on solitary confinement, because I shouldn't be sat on solitary confinement. Now, when you take the 60% off, so if I was an 18-month sentence, criminal, if I'd raped someone, and I was in here for rape or something, I'd get 18 months. Then I get 60% off, so that's 7.5, nearly 8 months. Then you do half of that on tag. I'd be out after 3.5, 4 months. But I have to serve 9 months of solitary confinement. And that's what I'm just pointing out, because I don't know, because I want you to feel sorry for me. I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy of it all. It's 2025. And what amounts to mental torture is being inflicted on a journalist because he made a film. They don't have to do this. I should be in an open prison. And if they're saying, if their excuse is they brought me here and they put me in isolation, I haven't asked them to isolate me. So they put me in isolation because their excuse is I'll get hurt in the prison system. Well, if that was the case, they should still give me the same rights as a DCAT prisoner. If a DCAT prisoner is only meant to be staying in prison at night and he's meant to go to work, that's what I should be doing. Least of all for making a film. Like the judge is given the power to give 2 years prison sentence for contempt of court without a jury. I've never had a jury, ever. So a 2-year prison sentence, but he wouldn't be given that if it was 2 years of solitary confinement. It's insane. And as that continues, not just that, I now have the Attorney General has now invoiced me. They sentenced me to 18 months, put me on solitary confinement, and now they've charged me £81,000 that they want me to pay by the 7th of January. Well, guess what? I face another contempt of court case. So we're talking about terrorism. This is financial terrorism. The weaponisation of the judiciary to destroy dissident voices. That's exactly what it is. If this was happening in North Korea, China or Russia, every politician in our country would be screaming about this. But not a word. Not one single politician has mentioned this. No, if you have a film which is an expose of the corrupt judiciary, which is the most watched documentary Britain's ever seen, and not one MP spoke about it, or mainstream journalists, not even GB News. None of them have spoke about it. It's insane. They'd all be screaming about it if they're pointing the fingers at other countries. But again, this ain't so people feel sorry for me. The Justice Nicklin thought he could inflict a gagging order. They think they can lock up the truth. As I said, the film's got 150 million views. How's that going? Now they've given a gagging order to journalists who come and visit me. Anyone who visits me has to now sign a gagging order that they won't speak about how I am. Why is that? Probably because they know full well that there's a downward spiral of solitary confinement. That's what's going to happen. They know what's going to happen. They have their experts, their mental health teams, which I've asked myself. So they know full well the consequences of isolating someone for 9 months. Will it break me? That's it. When you understand why they're doing it, it is to break me. That's the intention of it. It won't break me. I'll come out of here with my head held high, whether it be from a DCAT, which I doubt, but I'm grateful that I'm grateful that he's going to be fighting this, because he always taught me to fight everything. He's been fighting this through the legal system. I don't have much hope in any of the legal system because there's no jury. I've never had a jury. I face a terrorism case on the 20th of March. Now I face a terrorism case because I didn't allow the police access into my phone. They stopped me under terrorism legislation at the border, and then they said, we know you're not a terrorist, but we have the power to do this. So you have the power, you abuse your powers. Terrorism legislation wasn't brought in so you can stop journalists at airports. Why do they want to get into my phone? Because my next episode and my next documentary, everyone's talking about Muslim grooming gangs today. Everyone. My next documentary proves that they're not just Muslim grooming gangs. They're Labour's Muslim grooming gangs. And we have covert recordings that make allegations against leading Labour politicians who were involved in sexual exploitation of children. They're politicians. That's why they stopped down terrorism legislation. And I have, as a journalist, I have a right to protect my source of information. So I didn't give them access to my phone. And that'll face a terrorism trial. How many journalists have spoke up about that? 0. How many politicians have spoke up or defended my name in that? 0. We have to rely on leading figures from around the world. I think today, Dutch politicians, Danish politicians, Polish politicians, Australian politicians, American politicians are speaking up. Where are the British politicians? Just think where we would be if it wasn't for Elon Musk. Where would this country be? Donald Trump, I don't believe, would have been elected. Where would we all be? We'd all still be under censorship. Still, people wouldn't know the truth. There is a mass awakening happening out there, and they can't stop it. So long as there's free speech. Free speech is the most important thing. Free speech is the hill I will die on. I played this film. I made that film available to the public. Not because they were gagging me, because they were gagging you. They're silencing you. They don't want you to see the truth. That's what this has been about. It's not about me. It's not about people like me. It's about the wider public not knowing what's going on. It's why Jess Phillips doesn't want a groom gang scandal. It's why all of them have acted day in, day out to cover this mess up, because the mess highlights their failures, government failures, open border immigration failures. Their failure to tackle these problems. And instead they crush us. How's that working? Have you silenced us? How many views is the film on? How many people are listening now? Has it worked? It's not going to work. You can't lock up the truth. Your attempt to lock up the truth will not work. As I said, I'll come out of here. My next documentary is going to expose Labour massively. It doesn't matter how long you lock me up here for. And I expect them to come in with more charges. I expect them to try and do everything they can, because the public right now are listening. The world is watching. The more you try and crush us, the more you try and mentally break us, the more support we will gather. And people aren't buying your nonsense anymore. And this, again, I don't want people to be feeling sorry for me. I just want to point out their injustice, their lies. This doesn't have to be, my sentence doesn't have to be lies. I shouldn't even be in jail. I shouldn't be in jail, but I was willing to come to jail to put them on trial. I said that in the build-up. I'm not on trial here. The judiciary is. And right now the world, I'm not humiliated in the world's eyes. You are. The British judiciary is a laughingstock to the entire globe. The politicisation of our judiciary, the weaponisation of it, and right now our prison system is the whole world's watching the failure and the attempt to mentally break a British journalist for daring to expose their corruption. So I'm glad I got that off my chest. Everyone, I don't want you to feel sorry for me. I want you to think of Peter Lynch. Rest in peace, Peter Lynch. Rest in peace, free every political prisoner. I hope that Donald Trump, as soon as he's brought in, frees the January 6th prisoners, because I can only think of the solitary confinement conditions that they're facing, that their families are facing. I know what my family have faced. I know over the years what they're faced due to the slander and the lies by the media, by the fake prostitutes of the media. And to my kids, I absolutely love you and miss you. And every step and every move I've made, you have to follow it. And every sacrifice I make means you have to make sacrifices. So I apologise for that. But I hope I've taught you very special, important lessons in life. To stand up for what you believe in. Never cower, never bend. And don't be a coward. Always stand up for the truth. Because the truth matters. And in the long run, people will see. As they are now. So I love you and I miss you, kids. And Jay, I'm sorry about everything. So I love you all. All right. And I can't wait to be free. But until that point, our voices, the voices of survivors of sexual exploitation and Islamic grooming gangs, their voices are echoing around the world today. It's a great sight to see. I've sat in this cell. I may sound a bit of stress now, but I've sat in there. I am stressed anyway. Do you know, I'm stressed because even when it comes to visits now, I don't want to go on a visit. And that's isolation. So I know what months of isolation does. You then don't want to go out. I don't want to come out of the cell door. I go every morning and I'll continue to go every morning. I'll continue to have every visit. But I find a visit difficult. That's madness. But that should not be inflicted on a person. They should not be free to do that. It's not happening to the jihadists. It's not happening to the rapists. They're not allowed to do it to them. Why are they allowed to do it to me? Because they've made me that toxic that everyone's too scared to even speak about it. Even the reform MPs won't speak up about the mess. But I'm grateful to, you see, all the journalism, all of our activism, all our content. The most important work we've done was during our time of censorship. And right now the world's watching it. And it's great to see. It's great. It's a great feeling for me. And none of that work would have been possible without the people who support my work and support me. The thousands of you who have wrote me letters. Every time, if I feel down in here, I'll just pick up my sacks of mail that are working through. I pick up my sacks of mail and I don't feel down. I feel inspired. So keep fighting, and I hope that this sentence and the film exposes their corruption. Love to you all, man. And good luck on the 1st of February, everyone. Good luck on the 1st of February, and make